feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you all. Or if you're in Australia, it's Boxing Day down here. Boxing Day. A lot of people going out into the streets and boxing each other because that's what it's all about, right? You go out there and you commit boxing acts with each other. All right, no, that's probably not what you do. But yeah, hey, we're back. We had a day off yesterday for Christmas down here in Australia, but it is your Christmas if you're in America today. I don't know if you celebrate quite like we do in Australia, and I want to sort of show you what people get up to down here for a second. Let me show you what people who come to Australia do down here. They get together on beaches and party like this, like it's spring break. Look at all these people. There's like millions of people, and they are being accused of trashing the beaches down there on Christmas Day. A lot of people, oh, that's not how we do that. They left 20 tons of rubbish on the beach, 20 tons of rubbish. And they just left it for other people to clean up on Boxing Day morning. Look at this. This is sort of like the carnage of the what happened. Here you go. They just left the area like this, like as if people came and didn't take anything home. They're just like, I'm going to bring all my crap, dump it on the beach, and just leave it. That's what we're going to do. I think it's pretty disgraceful. It's almost like someone's like, someone else will clean it up. I don't have to take my stuff back or put it in a bin. So there's a lot of angry people who are locals who live nearby saying this happens every single year. No one cleans up anything. And then the next morning, the poor people who work for the local council have to come in on their Boxing Day and clean the entire place up. It takes hours, apparently, hours and hours. So, you know, Australians party hard, apparently. Yeah, like this poor guy. This poor guy had to come in on his Boxing Day, get on his hands and knees, pick up broken glass and other things because apparently people have no respect for their surroundings. And that's what Australians do. Apparently not all Australians. Apparently a lot of the people here were backpackers and people visiting Australia. But a lot of calls for people to not be able to host the event next year because they're saying it happens every single year. Yeah, let's see if we can. How many people did it take to clean it up? But they're saying 20 tons of rubbish. 20 tons. And it was 15,000 people who turned up to the gathering on Christmas Day. Let's have a look. They said there was bottles of alcohol, blankets, leftover cooler bags, plastic bottles, food packaging, and other things. Often they find some condoms, they find some ladies' underwear, they find all sorts of very trashy type things. So a lot of people angry saying that if you come to party, that's fine, but you should sort of take your stuff with you at the end. So that's how some people in Australia like to get down on Christmas Day. And look at this guy. Look at the cop. The cop is standing there basically going, why did I come in on my day off? Why did I do this? I should have stayed home. He looks very displeased with where he is. He's like, I should have taken my leave. I should have put in sick leave and just gone home. He's almost like I will be ineffective in this crowd. Hey, good to see you guys. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Mary Landis is here. Marjorie's here. Hey, Marjorie. Hey, Kim. Kim says ladies' underwear. Guarantee you there was ladies' underwear found today. Burnt popcorn. Hey, my friend. Good to see you. Joe's here. Hey, buddy. Lisa's here as well. Sean made it. Marilyn Landis. Who else do we have? Permaculture. Who else do we have on Christmas? Jojo's here. Everyone's here. Danny made it. Diane's here. Did I miss anyone? Gayla's here. I don't know if I missed anyone. I hope not. All right. Oh, Laura T made it as well. Laura T's here. All right. All right. Sean says, I don't get paid enough to sort out this crowd. Yeah, that guy was like, is this what I became a cop for? To come down to the the beach and sort out all this. Hey, good to see you. Hey, Betsy. Betsy's here. The guy in the sexy Santa right there. He is definitely having a hell of a day. I hope he had a great Christmas and bought a lot of presents to people. Did you guys have a good Christmas? Did you spend it with your families? Did you just watch Stranger Things? Is that what you did? Did you wait up all day and wait till 8 p.m. to watch the new episodes on Netflix? I watched them earlier. I don't know why they're giving it to us in like 3 episode, bits every so often, but that's what they're doing. And then next week on New Year's is the finale, the final episodes, and that'll be it for Stranger Things. So if you're out there watching Stranger Things today, I hope it was a fun Christmas if you weren't visiting family. Kathy said we watch Christmas movies all day. We normally watch the Hallmark Channel, but we didn't this year, and I'm not sure why, but we normally do watch it around Christmas to try and, I don't know, watch some of those cheesy Christmas Hallmark movies because they're a little bit of fun this time of year, but we just didn't do it this year. Permaculture said, great Christmas with just me and Pika Pika at the Windy Beach. Windy Beach. Yeah, actually, you know what's interesting? Melbourne was freezing cold yesterday. It was really cold, like winter cold, not the typical Australian summer that you would not like this one anyway on the screen. It was cold as in Melbourne and Victoria yesterday. Like I think it was like 13 degrees. It was bizarre. Yeah, like look right now. Melbourne feels like 11.6 degrees in Melbourne on Boxing Day. Same with Sydney, feels like 10.4. But if you go further north, it's 100 degrees. But the two southeastern states are quite cold. But then our neighbor in Adelaide next to us is like 25. How does that make sense? I don't know. How is it that half the country is freezing and then the other half of the country is boiling hot? I'm not sure, but I can tell you, Tasmania, it snowed on Christmas Day in Tasmania. People in Tasmania had a white Christmas, which is a rarity, I can tell you. It does not happen very often in Australia at all. But according to what I saw earlier, they had a white Christmas. It's like it just doesn't happen here. So they had a very special Christmas if you're in Tassie. Let me see. I'll try to find you a photo of snow in Australia. Let me see if I can find it from yeah, here we go. Here we go. It snowed in Tasmania on Christmas Day. I think that is someone who was wishing on a shooting star used up all their luck. They used up all their luck for Christmas. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's not it. But yeah, they look at this. Christmas and snow in Tasmania. Very rare. I don't think I've ever heard of it before. Probably I've seen it once or twice before. So people in Tasmania sort of got the Northern Hemisphere Christmas, which is pretty cool. Um, Die Hard, you guys, some of you watched Die Hard. I like Die Hard too. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's a quintessential Christmas movie. I don't want to hear anything else. I think that people who say it's not a Christmas movie are just out to kill the spirit of Die Hard. They just are. They just want us to forget how awesome Die Hard is. All right. Hey, I want to thank a couple people who sent in Christmas presents, which was really nice. You guys don't have to send me anything. But I want to thank my friend Penguin. Penguin, thank you so much. I want to thank Vicky K. Vicky K, thank you. It's nice to hear from you. It really is. And Sean as well. You guys are more than generous, more than kind. Ping is a big boy. He doesn't need Christmas presents. I can tell you, normally, like in our family, we don't really give Christmas presents, which kind of suits me because growing up, you guys know my history. Like, I didn't have family and stuff growing up. So, Christmas for me was never like a big deal. It was never like, like other kids where you get a lot of presents and things like that. Never really happened for me. So, it's never been that type of day, so I sort of, am used to that type of thing. So it's not like something I expect at Christmas every year. So yeah, but I appreciate it. It's very kind. It's very, very kind. It's very nice to hear from all of you. All right. One last thing about Christmas that you all need to know about Australia is there is a tradition in Australia that divides the nation. Every single Christmas day means only one thing and one thing only. And you guys are going to have to learn about this very secret Australian tradition. And I'm telling you, half of the country hates it, half of the country likes it. Does anyone know what I'm talking about before I show it on the screen? You guys tell me. All right, I'm going to show you. This is like one of the most hotly debated things in Australia every Boxing Day. All right, here we go. It is hot cross buns. In Australia, on Boxing Day every year, the supermarkets down here start selling hot cross buns 3 to 4 months before Easter. Every single year. It crept. It used to be like, oh, we're gonna sell them in mid-January, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna sell them a couple of weeks after Christmas. Now, over the last 10 to 15 years, it's Boxing Day, so that means, you know, Easter is the next celebration, which is not true. We have Australia Day in the 26th of January, which is like our big national day, sort of like your 4th of July. And they're like, we're not going to wait for that. We're going to sell hot cross buns on Boxing Day. So this happens every single year. People get really mad about it. And you either love it because you love hot cross buns, or you're in the other side that says by selling them on Boxing Day and not waiting until Easter, you're taking something out of Easter which is special. So you're diluting the holiday of Easter because it no longer is something special. So this debate divides Australia every single year on Boxing Day. So if you've never heard of these before, Kathy says I'm not really sure what that is. So a hot cross bun traditionally is a fruit bun, and on the top you can see it has a white cross on it. The white cross has some religious connotations to it, and they're supposed to only be sold at Easter. They're sort of like a very, supposed to only be sold for the 2 weeks around Easter time. But the supermarkets in Australia love money and they sell them from Boxing Day. And there's all different ones now. You can get apple cinnamon, chocolate chip, you can get the traditional fruit one. Now, back in the day, they used to sell these year round. But what they would do is they would take the white cross off the top of it and sell it as a fruit bun. But they decided that that is too much work and they're just going to sell it with the white cross on it on from Boxing Day. So there you go. Yeah, no razor blades in yours. We'll have to keep that woman away from the hot cross buns. For Lent, yeah, I think so. Don't ask Ping. I'm not religious that much. I couldn't tell you what it's for or why. I just know they sell them at Easter. Gail said in the UK it's Cadbury cream eggs. They've probably got Cadbury cream eggs out already, but it's the hot cross buns that are like a big thing. Yes, you can freeze them. Yes, people do freeze them. Miranda says so religious connotation. Yes, they are. That's why they're supposed to be sold at Easter, not really in the middle of January or the middle of December. So if you go into Coles or Woolworths today, you would be able to buy hot cross buns on Boxing Day. We just got done with Christmas. So there you go. A strange little like tradition down here. If you've never heard of this before, Australians will know all about it. But if you are from overseas, that is sort of a little quirk to how everything works down here. All right, there you go. Some little like bits of information about Christmas and things like that. I hope you're having a great Christmas out there, even though it's late at night now. I hope you had a great day. Ate a lot of whatever Americans eat on Christmas. I'm sure it's very different to what we do down here. We have like seafood and what else do we have? We had lamb yesterday. We have barbecue and stuff like that. So it's probably very different to what Americans eat because it's very cold in America. So they're probably eating things that are quite, got a lot of carbs, probably got a lot of meat and stuff. So probably similar but different. All right, I want to talk to you about a case. Now, if I can get this loaded up, I want to take you I want to take you to Texas because of course, as we know, Texas is almost like Florida in some ways where there's a lot of crazy crimes that happen down there and a lot of things for us to cover. They're saying here in Fort Worth, one suspect arrested after missing person found dead in a shallow grave. Well, that's never where you want to find your victims, but they're saying here the suspect reportedly told police he left the victim alive. Well, isn't that nice of him? The victim was found by police on Monday in the woods in North Fort Worth in Texas. Uh, I I find it interesting that the suspect was like, "Well, I didn't put him in a shallow grave. It must have been someone else." They're like, "Well, did you hurt him?" He's like, "Yeah, but he was alive when I left him. I don't know how he got into a shallow grave." They always seem to have blanking on the memory. All right, let's watch the little update. It's not very long, and then we'll go more into it. Uh, Good work. Good work, you silly video. Apparently the video is also taking a day off.
New tonight, Fort Worth police have arrested a man after finding a missing person's body in a shallow grave. Now, that victim was first reported missing on December 2nd, and the body was found Monday in North Fort Worth. Police tell us the suspect is a 23-year-old man named Alexander James Nicholas. They say he left the party with the victim on November 30th. Police say more arrests are possible as this investigation continues.
Ah, we're having a great day. I'm gonna blame the eggnog. I'm gonna blame the eggnog. Why does it keep muting me? Apparently it doesn't want me to continue our show. All right, fine. Fine. We'll do it the hard way. Let me take you back again, like Slim Shady. Let me take you back to what I was talking to you about. So they were saying that this particular suspect told authorities a BS story. And I was telling you about it before. He basically said, "Oh, like when I left him after this party on November 30, he was alive. Like we shook hands, we high-fived. I was like, "Hey, I'll see you at the party next time." And I just left him there. I know nothing about a shallow grave. Well, authorities say that when they started investigating, like what happened to this unidentified dead person, they were they basically came across evidence that was not correct. They came across evidence that proved his timeline and what he was telling police didn't add up. And they're saying here, investigators determined that the victim had left the original party on November 30 with the suspect. They're saying the suspect, Alexander, provided a statement to detectives, including the location where he claimed to have left the victim alive. Homicide detectives found evidence that contradicted his statement. They then arrested him. The victim has not been formally identified at this point in time. They're waiting on the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office to determine the official cause and manner of death. They will then notify next of kin. Then they're saying they will identify the victim publicly. But right now they can't give out a name. So we're going to have to wait on that. But let me see if I can find a photo of this particular guy so we can have a look at him. Like he's in a zoo. Let's have a look. Alexander. Hey, guys, hold on a sec. All right. Thank you. Because, yeah. Hmm. All right. Let me find this guy. Where is his name? Alexander James Nicholas. He's 23. There's got to be a mugshot. Uh-huh. We do have a mugshot. If I can get this up. There we go. There we go. There's your suspect. And they're saying here. Okay. They're just saying that's his from when he was arrested, charged over it. And they're saying the missing person is now considered a victim of homicide. Anything else? Evidence? Okay, they're saying that there could be other people involved in the death of the victim, and they're waiting to see if they're going to lay any more charges on other people that were at that party. So we're going to have to wait and see. I'm going to have to sit on this one for a little bit and wait to see who else might get charged with it. All right. I've got another. Apparently, Texas is giving us all sorts of true crime. Let me go back to a story. There was one that was sent in from Kelly, and we didn't get to cover it the other day, but I wanted to show it to you because I think it's important. We have a lot of people who watch from Texas and San Antonio, Fort Worth, things like that. So this one might be, you guys might be able to help solve a crime if you know anything about what I'm about to show you. Okay. I'm going to go to Ken's 5. Ken's 5, our good friends over there at San Antonio News.
Now to an update. Weeks after a body was found off Quintana Road, San Antonio police are asking for your help. They've released new pictures, hoping someone may know whose skeletal remains were found earlier this month. KENS 5 reporter Simone Simpson has the story.
Homicide investigators had little to go on as they tried identifying human remains found in southwest San Antonio earlier this month. Tuesday, San Antonio police released images of clothing the man was last wearing. It was on December 9th when the bones were found in this area near what appears to be an abandoned hand-dug well encased by bricks near Quintana Road and Southwest Military Drive. Tuesday, medical examiners were able to determine the human remains were of a man between the ages of 25 to 48, Hispanic and about 5'7". Take a look at what he was last wearing: a U of H shirt and orange button-down, gray pants, and a jacket. Investigators said someone walking in the area saw some clothing under some rocks, and when they pulled on the clothing, they discovered the remains. Before the end of the year, you have an opportunity to help bring closure to a family still searching for answers. If you recognize the clothing or have any information, contact SAPD's Homicide Unit at 210-207-7635.
So what do you guys think? Do you all know anything about this clothing? What can the people of my chat tell me about any of this clothing? I'll bring you up some examples. Give me 1 second, and I'll hopefully be able to bring you up samples of the clothing. Give me 1 sec. Not here. Just trying to get the crime file for you so you guys can see them up close. That's not how we do that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take you to Facebook where we can have a better look of these clothing items. So on December 9, 2025, officers found human remains in an empty field in the 7,000 block of Quintana Road, just north of Southwest Military Drive. The medical examiner were able to determine human remains were of an adult male with the following possible characteristics: Hispanic, between the ages of 25 and 48, height of 5'7". They're saying the SAPD needs the public's help in identifying the human remains. If you recognize the clothing or have any information, they want you to contact their homicide unit. Now, I want to open this up in a separate thing. I don't know why they gave it to us upside down, but you can tell it's been out in the wilderness for a long time. Like, you can see the holes in the shirt. This is probably from animal or like bugs, basically, from decomposition. This is probably from flies or maggots and things like that, unfortunately. And it's insect activity. And you see a lot of staining on the shirt. This is from decomposition, and especially this gray color and all this like greeny whitish color and the staining here. It's from decomp. And they're saying here, I had another description which I wanted to read to you about what the area is like. And they're saying that the reason that most people would be within this particular area, it could be people who were here. The bones were found in an area near what appears to be an abandoned hand-dug well near Quintana Road and Southwest Military Drive. Investigators said somebody walking in the area saw some clothing under some rocks, and when they pulled on the clothing, they discovered the human remains. They said because of the state of the remains, police said this will be a very hard case to crack. But with the newly released photos, officials are hoping to find someone who might recognize who belonged to the clothing. They said the SAPD says it's likely the person died some time ago in an area that is a conduit for travel for people who might be homeless. So they're saying this sort of tract of land is often used by people who don't have a home, maybe trying to get from one part of the city to another. And it's possible somehow this guy died and wasn't discovered for a long time. Yeah, let me open up the jacket. Maybe you guys will know something about the jacket here. So maybe someone might know the brand of what this is or where it might have come from, but it's in very bad condition. When you look at the buttons on it, look how rusted those buttons are. It's and I know, look, bodily fluid, rain, all these type of things lead to the discoloration, but it must have been out there for months to get this type of stripping of the metal. Same with like the jacket. You can see how encrusted the jacket is with like dirt and other things. Same with like the button clasp here. It's just caked in stuff. And the zipper doesn't look too bad, but up here you can see that zipper just seized up basically, and yeah, the rest of the jacket. So I don't know if someone knows what type of jacket this is. I can't see a label or a brand, a logo or anything, but maybe it's some sort of popular brand I don't know about. But you can just tell that when they say sometime, I got to think it's maybe like a couple of years, maybe like a couple of years, maybe a year. I don't think this is like 4 months or anything. I think we're talking about someone who died a long time ago. Sean said, it looks like my jacket untouched for a month after a fishing trip. Does. You thought of bug on crossing Jordan? Hey, SP Mama, how are you? Lisa said if he was homeless, it would be so hard to identify his clothes. They could have been given to him. He could have picked them up somewhere. The orange shirt is interesting. Like, that's not a fashion choice that most people would wear. I almost thought it might have been prison issue, but I'm not sure if it is because it is that kind of really bright prisoner type orange. The University of Houston shirt, though, it doesn't look very old, and I'll show it to you. You can tell by the printing, it's not that old. It's not like it's a 20-year-old shirt and then he died and then all this stuff happened to it. The printing on it doesn't look like it doesn't look like a really old shirt. It's not that cracked either. It's a little cracked, but not like severely. Not like you would think of like a faded old t-shirt. The shirt actually looks somewhat recent. Um, University of Houston, but it's obviously been very, very beaten up after he died. You can tell with all the holes in it and discoloration. But maybe someone here knows when they might have sold this particular style of University of Houston with these logos. They change these type of merchandise quite frequently, year to year, and so this might be from 2017, it might be from 2022, who knows? But they probably had a period of time when they made this particular design that might help, but they have not said what this guy died from as of yet. They haven't said. Hey, Vegemite Smile, how are you, my friend? Vegemite Smile says, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you, my friend. Congrats on growing your show this year. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. Thank you. I also saw Lisa sent one in. Lisa says, Merry Xmas to you and Mrs. Ping. Mrs. Ping is here. Say hi. Hi, everyone. That's all you get. That's all you get. She's looking at how to spend her Christmas money that she got from family. She's already burning a hole in her pocket. She's just like, I want to buy clothes. So that's what she's looking at. She's looking at the sales for Boxing Day. So she's already doing that. Yeah, so you guys tell me. I mean, I've given you some of my thoughts. Oh, we have a pair of pants too. I didn't see that before. What is this? A pair of jeans, maybe? Here. I wish they would have given them to us the right way around, like the right orientation. It would have made it easier. Like a gray pair of, I don't know if it's jeans or, yeah, it's denim. Was that like a white pair of denim? Gray? They don't look blue. Not dark enough to be blue. Yeah, there's some decomp, unfortunately. A big hole in the denim right there too. Um, I don't know. It's an interesting outfit. So if we call these gray denim, so it's a gray denim with an orange t-shirt, and then so he had two shirts on. So it looks like he had a collared shirt on, which is the orange one. He had the University of Houston t-shirt underneath that collared shirt, and then over the top he had the black jacket. It's quite a bit of clothing for someone to be wearing around, to have a button-up shirt, then a t-shirt under it too. Let me know what you think about these jeans. It's interesting that they're not going to show us all of it. They won't show us the buckle or the zip or anything. Maybe it's heavily damaged, but yeah. Guys do that when it's cold, like double layer. All right, you guys tell me. Yeah, Mrs. Ping likes the sales. She likes the sales. She's looking for work pants. She's like, I want some work pants, and I'm like, all right. Let's see. Joe said Walmart and Sam's Club and local university stores all have their own gear deal with public universities. Some need tabs on someone local to speak to the age of the UH. Yeah, I'd like to know. I think that might be a good indicator is when this shirt was printed and when did they sell them. Like, I'm surprised the detectives haven't contacted the whoever does the merchandise for the University of Houston. They would have a licensing department, I'm sure. Someone that does brand deals and merchandise and who can use their logo and stuff like that. I'm surprised they haven't contacted them to ask when did they authorize this particular design? Because all these things have to be rubber stamped by the university before they're sold. Everything, every jacket you've seen, every hat, every whatever, they all have to go through an approval process for licensing. And if they don't like it, they'll reject it and say, no, we don't like the color, we don't like how it looks. They all go through that process of licensing. So the university would have on file somewhere when they approved this particular design on this particular t shirt. So that may be a route that they go and look for with their investigation. There you go. There's a t-shirt again. Um, Lisa says, tell her to buy something better than work pants. That's what she wants. Vegemite Smile says, I always double layer in winter to save on electricity. I naturally am always warm, so I don't need to wear much, just a hoodie or something. Let me see what else we can find about. Where's the area? The 7,000 block on Quintana Road, just north of Southwest Military Drive. Okay. Let's have a look. What did they say? Just north of Southwest Military Drive. Okay. So if they're saying north, I reckon it's here. So here's Quintana Road. There's Southwest Military Drive. They're saying just north. So somewhere here. And being that this is an overpass, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere around here. But Let's have a look. It definitely looks like there's a lot of tire tracks out here. Okay. Where would you get to? Right. So yeah, I'm guessing they found it somewhere near this overpass because overpasses are often frequently used by the homeless population. So I'm guessing somewhere over here. But if we zoom out, where else could they go? So it's right next to the airport. There's an airport right here. This is Boeing. So it's a company Boeing right here. What is this? Is this their private airport? Oh, it's military. The 433rd Airlift Wing, Texas Air National Guard recruiting office. So it looks like it might be part military, part Boeing, maybe a research thing. Lockheed Martin. Ah, Lackland Air Force Base. And that looks like military planes. So looks like a military airport. So you got military right there across from the bridge. So you can't go in there because it's probably secure. Where would you? Definitely looks like some stuff here too. What a very sad place to end your life and be discovered under a bunch of rocks and someone came across you after walking their dog and it looks like they had been there for a very long period of time. That's sad to me. That's really sad. There you go, railway tracks too, which is, you know, I know it's not the 1940s and we're not talking about hobos who ride the rails, but they are frequented by homeless people. So yeah, somewhere around here they found his body. What they say? A hand dug well. Do we see a hand dug well on here? It's hard to tell with the quality. I don't know if I see anything that looks like a hand dug. Actually, right there, there's something here, but I can't tell what it is. It looks like a man-made something. Maybe they were using the area to camp or live or something like that. Other than that, I don't see anything man-made. And they said it was hand dug. Other than that one thing, I don't really see anything else. Yeah, it's hard to tell with the low quality, but possibly they did say just north of the road, Southwest Military, which this would be just north of it. And if he was here, like when we zoom out, if you didn't go here, everyone's just going by. They're either going down the road or they're going down the highway or whatever. They're not going to stop here and walk out 200 feet into this area. So I can understand why maybe they didn't find him for a long time. But what an awful area to not, not have your life continue. Vegemite Smile says, I'm warm all the time too. It sucks in summer, but in winter I can get away with 2 light hoodies and 0 heaters. Yeah, Ping is always very warm. Rachel said that's really close to the Air Force Base, probably lots of housing too. Well, there is. There's a lot of residential over here, and then there's military right here. But in between it is this one bit of land. And if we go south, what is there? I'm guessing what they mean is that the homeless population use these sort of corridors like through here. You can see there's some sort of track here that they probably use these tracks to get from place to place and not be noticed. So they may come even like through here and then go north or, come through here and then follow the track and go wherever. So what if we go south? Where do you go? Just more. Seems like it gets more and more rural until you get to here and there's a lot of housing. But what is down here? So you end up at United Southwest, and you end up in like a more of a built up part of San Antonio. All right. Let's go up here. How awful for the guy. All right, let me take you back to the photos. So yeah, found his body under a bunch of rocks, and when the person tugged on the fabric, his remains basically came out. Let me see what else we can find. Clothing of the victim was found. Officers found human remains in an empty field in the 7,000 block of Quintana Road. That is exactly where we were looking. That is that empty field where we were looking, definitely. Actually, that's the 3,000. In the 7,000. That's giving me the thing of a different number. It says the 3,000 block, but that's the only road it can be. I'm not sure because it shouldn't be. There is no other road, and there's no other cross section between Quintana and Southwest. I don't know why they labeled it like that. I bet they screamed. I don't know. I don't know if they screamed. But yeah, there you go. The age gap is pretty long, 25 to 48 years old, and they were pretty short, 5'7" for a guy that's not exactly super tall. The SAPD says if anyone knows anything about these clothing and who that person might have been, to call 210-207-7635. I will look at just one more place and see if we can find anything else that might help us identify who this person might be. In the 7,000 block. Nope. Okay, they had a map here. Let me have a look if it's where we were talking about. They're saying it is south of that bridge. So their pinpoint on it was actually here. They're saying it's right here. But I don't believe that to be true because Southwest Military Drive in Quintana, it meets here, and that's where their pin was too, but I don't reckon it's here. They said north of the bridge. This would probably be north. Unless it's here. Let me have a look. I mean, this is not the correct description. Look, all right. We're just gonna have to take it for what they say. And it's either somewhere here or over the bridge as well. Don't see a handmade, what do they call it? A handmade well. An empty field, southwest. Yeah, let me check here. What do they say? Hope to find someone. Yeah, okay. That's all we get on it.
For joining us on this Christmas Eve. I'm Simone Simpson. Tonight marks 10 years.
Shush. Stupid thing. All right. I'm going to leave you with that. But if you know anything about it, call the SCPD and quote they don't give me a case number for it, but they're just saying, okay, that's interesting. Hold on, guys. I found something. Someone in the comments for the Facebook post actually posted like the new version of that t-shirt here. There is what that t-shirt looked like before it became disintegrated. I'm just trying to see if did they put a year? They didn't put a year, but they said that this design is quite old from the 80s or 90s. I don't know. Do you reckon that would make it that long from the 80s or 90s in that condition? Look, that's what they're saying. 80s or 90s design for the university. So it's not new. It's not from like the 2000s or anything like that. They're saying that 1980s or 1990s. They could possibly be right, and that does look like a pretty good match for the jacket itself. Give me one look. Yeah. It does look like a decent match for it. If we look at back at our photo. Founded 1927, founded okay, no, okay, weird. The one that they showed a photo of says founded 1927, but the one that we have has a different date on it. Founded 1934. That's strange. Why would the university quote two different dates for their founded day? This one 1934 and a different one that looks almost exactly the same, 1927. That's odd. But other than that, other than the date, they're pretty similar. There you go. What does it mean? Ping doesn't know. I'm not sure why it would be like that, but I do believe the clothing is similar. So there you go. Hey Opal. It could have been bought at an op shop or being homeless, possibly. It might have been given to them. You know, when they get clothes in, they give them to people that need clothing. So yeah, could have been just given. Sometimes they have those teams that go out and try and check on homeless people, give them clothing or supplies that they might need while living on the street. Maybe someone gave them a shirt. So could be. I wouldn't say that they went to the University of Houston, although you try not to judge people. You can end up homeless all sorts of ways. So it's not like they may have never gone there, but you know. All right. Unfortunately, that's all we have on the human remains found in San Antonio. I really wish we had a little bit more. I've got one more video. It's only 30 seconds. I don't think it's going to tell us too much more, but we'll watch it anyway.
Well, tonight, the San Antonio Police Department says they need your help to identify human remains that were found 2 weeks ago. And these are photos of pieces of clothing that the person was wearing. The remains were discovered in an empty field near Quintana Road and Southwest Military Drive. Now, the medical examiner's office says the remains were of an adult Hispanic male between the ages of 25 to 48 with a height of about 5'7". Police say if you recognize this clothing, call the homicide unit at 210-207-7635.
All right, so there you go. I Hear Morning says 1934 was the year they became a 4-year university before it was a junior college. There you go. Maybe that's got a reason for the two different shirts. Joe says, actually, when I went to Ladybird Lake a year ago, witnessed a clothing giveaway there in Austin for homeless people. I wouldn't be surprised if San Antonio has something similar. Yeah, they do have these type of like teams or charities that go out and try and clothe the homeless people and give them supplies like socks or hygiene products, that type of thing. And I would not be surprised if that's how this person got the clothing that they are wearing, like the jacket, like the shirt, like the jeans, all that type of thing. I feel like maybe if they showed us the scene, not with the body, but where they found him and under what circumstances, like this hand dug well, how was he under any type of rocks? Because they said when the guy pulled on the fabric, he was under some sort of rocks. So I think if maybe if they showed the scene, that would have maybe been better. It might have given people more of a idea, possibly. Let me check one other story for it. No, it doesn't. No, that doesn't help us. Um, KSAT? 6900 block. Okay. The department said that when they found the body, it was in advanced stages of decomposition. That explains some of the decomp we saw on the shirt. Investigators say they were unsure how long the body had been decomposing for. They're also saying that's it. That he was found in the 6900 block of Quintana Road, located near Southwest Military Drive. Yeah, advanced stages of decomp. So that's why they think he's been there for a while. But other than that, yeah, investigators said someone walking the area saw some clothing under some rocks. And when they pulled on the clothing, they discovered the human remains. I'd want to see what that area looks like. How can you pull on some clothing and that it was under some rocks where that was before a human, like, full flesh and blood? How big are these rocks? And under what situation could someone be under them? I think that might have been interesting to find out because that is hard to envision. Oh, wait, is this the well that they're talking about? Hold on. Uh-huh. Hold on, we may have something else.
Now to an update. Weeks after a body was found off Quintana Road, San Antonio police are asking for your help. They've released new pictures, hoping someone may know whose skeletal remains were found earlier this month. KENS 5 reporter Simone Simpson has the story.
Homicide investigators had little to go on as they tried identifying human remains found in southwest San Antonio earlier this month. Tuesday, San Antonio police released images of clothing the man was last wearing. It was on December 9th when the bones were found in this area near what appears to be an abandoned hand-dug well encased by bricks near Quintana Road and Southwest Military Drive. Tuesday, medical examiners were able to determine the human remains were of a man between the ages of 25 to 48, Hispanic and about 5'7". Take a look at what he was last wearing.
So was he in the well or just near it? And then they sort of show you the area. Let's go. They showed another bit with like some rocks on it. Yeah, come on. Yeah, there's that well. There's some rocks. I'm still interested to how it looks like rebar in that concrete too. I'm interested to know how his body somehow got under the rocks. And is the reason they're not showing us too much more about how his body was found, could it have been a homicide? Because I don't think you can just put rocks on yourself. I don't think when you die, you're like, let me cover myself with rocks first. So, a worker, maybe, maybe. They said near the well. Okay. You suspect that's not the actual well? Yeah, that's what I thought too. When you think of hand dug well, you think of something like not like that, but no, they're saying that is it. Yeah, play this bit again.
West Military Drive. Tuesday, medical examiners were able to determine the human remains were of a man between the ages of 25 to 48, Hispanic, and about 5'7". Take a look at what he was last with. Of clothing the man was last. It was on December 9th when the bones were found in this area near what appears to be an abandoned hand-dug well encased by bricks near.
Yeah. Abandoned hand dug well encased in bricks, and that's what they were showing. I know it looks different to what I would suspect, like something homemade too. Rachel said, sounds like someone tried to cover him up. Yeah, especially if it was so not obvious to the person who found him that he had to pull on the fabric to then figure out it was human remains. I gotta think that did someone put him there? That maybe that's what happened to him. Lisa said, looks like a homemade brick job. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know why you would build one of these here. Maybe it could have been like local. I don't know. I'm not sure why you would build this, but yeah, look, interesting. I think maybe it could be a homicide. Did they say that the homicide team is? Yeah, call the SAPD homicide unit. So they must be thinking that someone killed him and left him there. The fact that he was so decomposed and had been there for, you can tell by the clothes, a long, long period of time. It may be that there's no cameras. It's like, how do you know who that person might have been hanging around with? It's very, very sad, but I guess they're right. The first step is to find out who is the person. The fact that they don't have any ID, they don't know who the person might be. I think maybe if you could find out the name, you might get a step closer to IDing what happened to them. So yeah, if you know anything about that clothing, call it in to the SAPD and let them know what you know. Maybe you know where the clothes were bought, what year they were made, some detail about it that could help them. Something about, I think if you, out of the clothing, the University of Houston T-shirt would probably be the biggest clue if you could track down when it was made, how many of them might be around, that type of thing. And then the jacket, unfortunately, the jacket doesn't have any branding on it for us to know. And it looks like it's damaged near the label too. But yeah, something that's a zip. But other than that, no branding. Like no logos, no tags or anything to find out what brand it is. Yeah, but if you know, call it in to the SAPD. Call it in. They like they're saying they'd like to solve the mystery and tell a family what happened to their loved one. They're asking you to call the homicide unit at 210-207-7635. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave that one there because I don't have anything else on it. Yeah, I have many questions about how that person ended up there. Opal says, I will assume that he was a worker and didn't have any family in the area because otherwise he would be a missing person. That is true that they have not been able to link it to any missing person in the wider area so far. That is a good point. Normally they'd be able to link it to at least someone. All right, I want to take you to a different story. We have many stories. Which one should we do? All right, we could do this one. Some people, especially during the holidays, take their football very seriously to the point where sometimes people kill other people. And I'm not joking. It is true. So I want to take you out to the country's favorite sheriff, and it's our good friend in Polk County, Florida, Grady Judd. And I want to talk to you about why some people get, you know, a bit mental. Yeah, I'll read you what it says here first. It says here, a Florida man, of course it has to start with that, and his wife are dead after a murder S word resulting from the argument over watching football Monday night. So they were watching the 49ers versus the Colts, and something has gone terribly wrong where the man has shot and killed his wife and then himself. So let's listen to Polk County and we will find out more about it.
With us today. As you know, anytime you report on a murder, it's a sad situation. It is hugely sad when it's around Christmas. And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse. And it started last night in Highland City. Jason Kinney, who's 47, is married to Crystal Kinney. And Jason's been drinking during the evening. And he's watching his football team, the 49ers, play football. Well, they're having a good night. They're winning. In fact, they won big. Sometime toward the end of the game, at around 11 o'clock, an argument.
It's very quiet. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can barely hear it. So I'll take you out to a different one, and then I'll try and find a better copy of Grady Judd's press conference. Okay? Yeah, let me take you out to wesh.com.
All right, in Polk County now, 2 people are dead and a 13-year-old critically injured after an argument over the TV ended in a murder-suicide. Sheriff Grady Judd said Jason Kinney and his wife Crystal were watching the end of a football game when she suggested to watch something else. An argument started and Crystal told her 12-year-old son to call 911. The boy went to the neighbor's home and heard a gunshot after he left. When deputies arrived, they found Crystal with a gunshot to the head and his 13-year-old stepdaughter with 2 gunshot wounds. Sheriff Judd says Mr. Kinney then went to his father's house.
When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason. We set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased.
Deputies also discovered Jason's biological 1-year-old in the house unharmed. The 13-year-old remains critical. The other children are now with their grandparents.
So there you go. Watching the 49ers. I'm ashamed that this guy is a 49er fan. Joe said, so here's a thought about Grady Judd. He does these press conferences where he says, as a matter of fact, that these arrestees perpetrated criminal acts. Could a defendant claim jury tampering? I don't think so. I don't think you could. I mean, you could try, but I think he does it under the pretense that these people have been charged and haven't gone to trial yet. Let me see. I want to see if we can actually watch some more of that press conference, but with a better volume. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go.
Today, as you know, anytime you report on a murder, it's a sad situation. It is hugely sad when it's around Christmas. And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse. And it started last night in Highland City. Jason Kinney, who's 47, is married to Crystal Kinney. And Jason's been drinking during the evening. and he's watching his football team, the 49ers, play football. Well, they're having a good night. They're winning. In fact, they won big. Sometime toward the end of the game, at around 11 o'clock, an argument began when Crystal suggested they watch something else on television. And the argument got really heated. Crystal told her 12-year-old son to go to call 911. So the 12-year-old flees to the neighbor's house in order to dial 911. And as he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot. Deputies arrive in less than 5 minutes of the call for service. And when we enter the house, we see that Crystal Kenny, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse. We go into the bedroom and we see a 13-year-old child, a little girl. She shot twice. She shot in the shoulder and she shot in the face. We later learned the bullet in the face hit her on the bridge of the nose, went straight up and out the top of her head. She is alive in critical condition, but stable at Lakeland Regional Health, and is alert and talking. That's a Christmas miracle.
I agree. To the fact that she was shot in the face, it somehow ricocheted off the bridge of her nose and didn't go through her forehead. It went through the top of the skull, but it didn't hit her brain. It's a Christmas miracle. The fact she's alive, alert, and talking in hospital is, I think, is amazing, but should never have happened. This guy shot and killed his partner and the child over a football game and them wanting to watch something different on TV. How and why? Like, you have to have diminished mental capacity to pick up a gun and shoot two people in your home who you're supposed to love and care for because of a football game, because the Niners had already won by the second half or the third quarter. They could have easily watched a different game. It's ridiculous. Alcohol being a factor, sure, but I think you have to have it already within you to want to kill someone. You don't just pick up a gun and be like, wow, I've got the worst hangover. I can't believe what I did last night. I shot and killed two people. I think you already have to have that built within inside you to be able to do that to people. Awful. Let's play the rest.
Jason shot her twice and intended to kill her. He didn't, however, shoot his biological child, thank God, who was 1 year old and in a crib. He shot his stepdaughter. He didn't get a chance to shoot his stepson, who had run to dial 911. Jason then jumps into his vehicle and flees the scene just prior to deputies arriving. He is going toward Lake Wells. He calls his sister in upstate New York, and he says, I've done something very, very bad. Very bad. I did something terrible. And this is the last time you'll ever talk to me. You'll see me on the news, but I am not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. So he goes to his father's house, which apparently is currently in probate. His father's deceased, and there's a friend staying there. When he gets to the house, he immediately goes into a shed. Deputies now are tracking Jason we set up a perimeter and start yelling for Jason to come out of this shed, which is adjacent to the home. And the deputies hear a single gunshot. When we make entrance into the shed, we find that Jason has shot himself in the forehead, and he too is deceased.
I feel like he could have just saved everyone time and effort and done that last bit and not the other two things. If he had done that, we'd all be having a happy day because it would have been one more scumbag off the earth, and then he could have kept the two innocent people, uninjured. Absolute scumbag. Rest in piss, all right? Rest in absolute piss. This guy can F off as far as I'm concerned. Ain't nobody sad you're gone, and your remaining legacy will be that you're part of our DV statistics. You will always be counted as that. No one will ever remember anything else about you, because that is the last vision you showed the world, was how much of a violent dumbass you are. The fact you ended up on the Polk County Sheriff's live stream about what you did tells everyone exactly what your life was meant. It meant nothing. You didn't do fuck all. And instead, you decided to pick up a gun, shoot your partner, shoot a child, and then run away like a little bitch, and then shoot yourself. Should have just did the last thing. That's all you should have done. Joe said, usually when there's an active investigation, law enforcement community clams up. Grady Judd does the opposite. I believe someday it's going to bite one of his cases in the ass. I mean, he's not the only sheriff that does this type of things. There's a couple of others that do press conferences very similar to the way Grady Judd does it. There's another guy, I think it's Marion County. Is it Marion County? They also have a sheriff that does similar type press conferences where they sort of air a lot of it out up front. And I think, yeah, he's not the only one. He's just like the most famous, I think, for doing it. But yeah, this guy, what an absolute sook of a guy. And yeah, 3 days before Christmas, he shot and killed his wife, shot his stepdaughter, then shot and killed himself. They said, this is horrific, but destroying a family and the mental health of these children so close to Christmas is especially horrific. And the sheriff says, we will do everything we can to help get this family through this difficult time. Yeah. So, one of the sad bits here, it says, the stepdaughter begged Kenny not to shoot her after she had already witnessed her mother being killed. That poor kid, that poor child, she's going to need a lot of help. And, well, she's lucky to be alive, really. By the way, we covered another story the other day in Missouri. If you remember the one in Missouri about Damon Leonard, I have an update. Apparently, that is true about the dogs mauling the little boy Arian Ndula. Apparently, he was mauled by 4 dogs. Apparently, that information has come out. Now, people were asking me to keep an eye on the story, and I can confirm to you that that seems to be the case, that the young boy, Arian Ndula, he was mauled by Leonard's dogs. So let me grab you a bit more. This was in Pleasanton in Kansas, and I want to take you to there. Yeah. Hold on, we're gonna have to do this a different way. Sometimes we get roadblocked by being in Australia. So hold on. Yeah, I want to take you out to KSHB in Kansas City for a small update. if it'll play. Oh, we've got to actually put you on the page too.
A Lynn County, Kansas man faces charges in Missouri for abandonment of a corpse who police have identified as 13-year-old Aaron Andula, who went missing in this neighborhood. It's less than 48 hours until Christmas, and this family's holiday has been turned into a nightmare and one that's rocked the entire small town of Pleasanton.
We thought this was going to be the safest place for our babies, and I'm so sorry, Aaron.
Holiday joy has turned into sorrow for Anita Gunn, Charles Andula, and their two daughters, Allison and Addison, after 13-year-old Aaron rode his bike to a neighbor's house to feed their pets while they were out of town. Police later recovered the boy's body in a ravine in Bates County, Missouri.
I just can't imagine him laying there, man. I can't forgive a man like that.
47-year-old Damon Leonard, who Andula says is their neighbor, is charged with abandonment of a corpse. Charging documents state Leonard told police he knew Aaron was dead and where to find his body while multiple agencies searched for him. Now Aaron's parents are searching for answers.
All that time spent lost when answers could have been sooner. Probably more forgiving had it been an accident.
The Andulas aren't the only ones reeling in Aaron's death.
This school is the heartbeat of our town, but the people give it the pulse.
Don Epps is the Pleasanton School District Superintendent.
Aaron was a sweet young man, and he would never cause any trouble whatsoever. He was someone who worked extremely hard, and I always said he's a young man of action, not words.
That's how mom and dad want Aaron to be remembered, as the lovable, kind, and awesome kid they knew.
It makes you angry with God because you don't know why such an angel like that had to go that way and be found that way so disrespectfully.
Police expect an update on Wednesday afternoon. In Pleasanton, Kansas, Ryan Gamboa, KSHB 41 News.
So, yes, we know a little bit more about Aaron now. And they're saying here that during an interview at Leonard's home, he allegedly told deputies he took the deceased child from Kansas to a location in Bates County. They're saying after obtaining a search warrant, deputies accompanied Leonard to a remote area in rural Bates County, where he told deputies he placed the boy's dead body down a large ravine in a creek bed. Leonard admitted that he transported the deceased child from Kansas to Missouri and left the body at the bottom of the creek bed before traveling back to Kansas, where he resided. And as you heard in that thing, he had gone over to feed a neighbor's pets while they were away, and then he was attacked by 4 dogs. Andula vanished on Sunday after riding his bike to a neighbor's house to feed their pets while they were away. He was reported missing that evening after failing to return home. But we're hearing that it was this guy's dog, Leonard's dogs, who attacked and killed the little boy. He found the kid dead after the dogs mauled him and decided, okay, what I'm going to do is not call an ambulance or not call for help. I'm going to get his body, put it in my truck, take it across state lines into Missouri, and dump him in a riverbed. I mean, it's horrible. Opal says, this story horrifies me. Those dogs are obviously mistreated by their owner. They will lose their lives too. Clearly, the owner of the dogs is a coward. Definitely a coward. The fact that he knew that Aaron was either dead or had been very severely hurt, and his first idea was to hide the body instead of call for help. They're saying here that Leonard reportedly lives in Pleasanton, and according to WDAF, authorities found 12 dogs at his home on Monday. 12 dogs. According to WDAF, Andula vanished on Sunday after leaving his home to help a friend let out their dogs and chickens while they were out of town. So there you go. Apparently, Leonard is charged with felony abandonment of a corpse right now, but more charges could be forthcoming. He remains jailed on a $100,000 cash only bond. He's next due back in court January 15. So I'm suspecting that we will find out a bit more on January 15 about how this all went down. But it's sounding like an absolute horrific final moments for this young kid. I mean, to be mauled by several dogs and then, be dumped into a river, a dry riverbed. It's ridiculous. And it's just really sad too. Let me try and take you out to KMBC 9 out of the area. Let me take you out for another little update on it.
Teenager is dead. KMBC getting answers about the investigation. Good evening. I'm Matt Fleener. Bria is off tonight. That investigation now spans both sides of the state line. Police are trying to solve why 13-year-old Aaron Andula died. Aaron Andula first went missing 2 days ago from the Holiday Lakes neighborhood.
They come down and told us that this Verby is gone.
Aaron's parents, Charles and Anita, are heartbroken. They want to know exactly what happened to their son after he was last seen riding on his bike away from his home.
I kept saying he's not in the woods. It's not him. He knows he's in the woods. Something happened. He's hurt somewhere, being held somewhere, or he's in a vehicle in another state by now.
Tuesday, police found the 13-year-old dead 30 minutes from his home across the state line. His parents say a neighbor up the street is now the man police have in custody. Court documents say Damon Leonard called deputies in Bates County, Missouri, saying he knew the child was dead and knew where the body was. Leonard then led deputies to the location. Aaron's body was found down a large ravine in a creek bed. Leonard then admitted to transporting the body himself. Aaron's parents have big questions they want solved.
I want to know myself. How did he get from there to here? What happened here that threw up the red flag and he found over here?
Now, detectives with KCK police are investigating due to a conflict of interest with local agencies. Leonard, by the way, charged with abandonment of a corpse in Bates County. The probable cause, state's charges are expected to be filed in Kansas.
And we start with an update in the case of Anna.
So there you go. There's your update. Everyone wanted me to keep on top of this one, and over the last 24 hours, I have. And that is the latest information for Aaron Andula. Hopefully, we get a bit more information and more charges, hopefully, in the next week or so. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else we could add for you. I don't see anything that you guys don't already know. But they do say here that the KCK police said they also expect charges to be filed in Lynn County, but the ones in Lynn County will be connected to Aaron's death. The ones that are in Missouri are only about the disposal of the boy's remains. As that the killing of the kid happened in Kansas, those charges will come from the Kansas side of the state line. And that's why it seems a bit odd right now that he's only got one charge for the improper disposal of human remains. Well, it's because the other ones have to come from where the death of the kid happened. So that's just a sort of, a legalities thing. You are welcome. You are welcome. You know who's someone we don't see very often anymore? I haven't seen Moonlight View in ages, one of our moderators. I hope she's doing okay. I find it strange that I haven't seen her in 3 or 4 months now. Mimi said, thank you. Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. All right, let me see if we got anything else for this Christmas night. I think we might have another one that we were going to do. If I can, yes. We go here. Got another one. Unfortunately, a woman in New Jersey found stabbed to death, which is never a story I want to bring to you, but I feel like we sort of have to. So give me 1 second and I will get it for you. It's from New York. Okay, I don't know why. Our great links are not working. Hold on, guys. Stay with me. I don't know why it's not loading. Apparently, sometimes these websites are racist against Australians, and they won't open on an Australian IP. So you're gonna have to we might have to give that one a miss, unfortunately. Let me see if we can do this one. Apparently, the websites have taken Christmas Day off as well. All right, maybe we go to this one. All right. I'm going to take you out to Navajo County in California. Bit of a strange story. Farming mogul charged with murder after a strange wife shot dead, according to deputies. This is from Action News 5 in the area. And so his name, here he is here. He's 63-year-old Michael Abadi. He was booked into jail on a first-degree murder charge in relation to the death of his estranged wife, 59-year-old Kerry. So big word there, estranged. They're saying a Navajo County grand jury indicted Michael on Tuesday, and deputies got an arrest warrant for him. He was taken into custody in El Centro around 3:30 p.m., then booked into a California jail on first-degree murder charge, and is currently awaiting extradition back to Arizona. So I'll bring you the update for that one here.
A farming mogul from California has been indicted for the murder of his estranged wife in Arizona. This happened in November, and investigators say the evidence points to Michael Abadi. Our Stephanie Dupre has a breakdown of how investigators solved this case.
Well, this happened a little over a month ago. It's a very high-profile case. Carrie Ann Abadi was found shot to death just before Thanksgiving, and now detectives are saying it was her husband who pulled the trigger. Tonight, we learned detectives served search warrants at the family's properties in California and say the evidence shows her husband, Michael Abadi, drove to Pine Top, killed her, and then immediately went back to California. Abadi was arrested this afternoon in El Centro and will be extradited to Arizona to face murder charges. Now, at the time, the height of this case, we spoke to an expert.
The property that the house sat on was 14 acres. This had to have been an 8,000 square foot or better home in a very heavily wooded area. And the investigation has gone from that giant footprint to almost 500 miles away.
And in the release today, detectives said that they had a significant amount of evidence that pointed them to Michael as the one who did it, but they didn't specify what they had. It's not clear when he will be due back in court. Reporting for Arizona's Family Tonight, I'm Stephanie Dupre.
Yes, this is not.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Spicy. Did you cover the case of the 3 men dressed up as UPS workers and murdered the adults at the home in front of kids, all caught on tape? I'm not sure. When was this? We've covered a few cases of people dressed up as, people that gas workers and things like that before. I don't remember one about UPS people. Let me have a look here. Marylander says Moonlight View was in Web Sleuths tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I must have pissed her off or something because she doesn't come anymore here. I don't know what I did to upset her though. Mimi said, I know the Abadis from working in produce. Well, being that they're farmers, I'm guessing that makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to find out anything else we can on Mr. Abadi because it's it's unfortunately another DV case when you think about it. It's an estranged wife. So his wife's name's Kerry Ann, and she was 59. They're saying here Kerry Ann was found unresponsive at her home on November 20, but was later pronounced dead at the hospital. And they're saying that he basically fled. That's what happened. He fled. Let's have a look. Take you to the Desert Sun News. They're saying a powerful farm owner and energy mogul from Southern California has been charged with killing his estranged wife weeks after she was found with a gunshot wound in her Arizona home. Michael Abadi, 63 of El Centro, was arrested about 3:20 p.m. on Tuesday, December 23. They're saying the charges stem from the death of his estranged wife, Kerry Ann, who was found unresponsive by a relative inside her home in Arizona. She was later pronounced dead in hospital. Let's see. He's awaiting. So yeah, he's awaiting extradition back to Navajo County in Arizona, but it's not clear when that will happen probably due to the holidays and things like that. So the arrest came after Navajo County detectives executed multiple warrants on December 2nd on properties and vehicles tied to the family, including a resident near Imperial Avenue and Aurora Drive in El Centro, as well as 2 camp trailers and 2 vehicles. At least 1 search warrant was filed in Arizona. They also owned homes in Arizona and Wyoming. Michael had traveled from California to Arizona on November 20 and then immediately returned to California, according to the sheriff's office. They're saying Michael is a highly influential farm owner on California's agricultural and political scene. His family has been in Imperial Valley for more than 100 years and helped build the All American Canal, which brings Colorado River water to the region. Abadi Farms includes thousands of acres of producing crops such as melons, broccoli, sugar beets, and alfalfa, which Michael said in 2017 generated more than $10 million a year. They later expanded into energy development. An energy company he owns won a $35 million battery storage contract from the Imperial Irrigation District, and he proposed a large solar farm. According to this, he and his wife Kerry had been married for 31 years before separating in August of 23, and they were in the midst of divorce proceedings at the time of her death. After the separation, Kerry became a full-time resident of Arizona. The couple married in April 1992 and jointly owned Mike Abadi Farms in El Centro since 1999. Michael oversaw business operations for the family's farming, energy, and real estate interests, while Kerry managed the household. Divorce filings in Imperial County Superior Court outline the couple's assets and describe Kerry's financial struggles as a nearly single woman in her late 50s. She filed for divorce in October of 23 and initially collected $5,000 a month in spousal support. In January, she sought additional financial support and attorney's fees tied to rental income from farm properties the couple owed. A judge later increased the amount to $6,400 per month. They say, challenging Kerry's request, Michael stated that Mike Abadi Farms suffered financial losses in 2023 and 2024, in part because of fuel and shipping cost increases. So he was trying to get rid of a lot of that spousal support, and he was unsuccessful, apparently. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that seems to be it. It seems to be basically that when they were going through that divorce, he's decided he's had enough, and instead of continuing to pay her this $6,400 a month, he decided to kill her. So great. Another woman killed due to DV violence. How terrible, really is. Um, I it's almost like it just happens in every story we read about. Any woman that dies, it's because of something like this. Kelly J said, "Yeah, don't get rid of one of the 3 homes. Get rid of the spousal support." I know they seem like they're not suffering for money. $10 million a year in money they make from the farms, yet he's bitching over $6,400 a month in spousal support because him and his wife separated. In other words, he wanted to keep everything for himself, not the asset that they built together. Rachel said, so he didn't want to pay he didn't want to pay the support. Kim said, you have to be pretty evil to kill for money. Well, there's a lot of people who kill for money, unfortunately. So, yeah. All right. All right. I think that's about it for tonight, guys. I think we've been on almost just shy of 2 hours. And it's getting late for everyone. But I'll be back for tomorrow for you guys. We're going to have some fun. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. You guys don't have Boxing Day in America. So I don't think we can call it Boxing Day. Mimi said, I just knew them business-wise, not personalized. Very sad over money and assets. That is true. Rachel said he probably didn't want to split everything. Well, he probably thought that it was all his. It was all his. All right. Yeah, I just want to check something. Okay. How was the food? The food for yesterday for Christmas? It was good. We had what did we have? We had like barbecue and we had some lamb and roast veggies and roast potatoes and just, typical type stuff. We had like some turkey. What else do we have? Yeah. Yeah, we had chavapi, chicken. What else do we have? We had some desserts like Christmas pudding and stuff like that. Roast veg. Woman of Steel said we call it eating more day. What, tomorrow? Eat all the leftovers from the Christmas day. Yeah, we had some prawns. Sean said the alimony adds up even if you don't pay it. That's true. That's true. It would eventually. Lisa said not a fan of turkey, but must eat on Xmas Day. Joe said I'm celebrating Boxing Day by trading places with my administrative assistant. Yes, you should do that. Trade places with that. William says, have you done the American food tasting yet? No, we didn't because it was so late tonight. We want more people to be here for it. So tonight was a pretty quiet night, and I think we want more people to come and hang out for it. So we're waiting on a good night where everyone shows up. So it might be tomorrow if we get the larger version of our crowd show up. We don't, because we've done it before where we've only had the smaller crowd and it's not done as well. So we want to make sure there's a lot of people there. Yes, that's right. One more week of the holidays. Yeah, we've got New Year's next week. We're going to be back. We're going to get out of 2025 and be in 2026 next week. That'll be interesting. Hopefully a better year than 2025 was, because 2025 sucked. All right. Maybe we'll figure out the mystery of what happened to Moonlight View tomorrow. All right, let's go. All right, I'll check here. I think we did everyone on there. I think we did everyone on here. I want to thank Vegemite Smile. Merry Christmas to you too, and to Lisa. Thank you. And let me check here. Check the other one for people, and to Sean and Vicky K, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. It's very, very kind to all the people who've supported the channel this year. It's been very kind of you all. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you all. See you then. Bye.